Hey guys, I'm Casey, and this is Click with Casie. And in the exit interview series, I am sitting down with people to find out why they left their jobs. Was it by choice? Were they forced out? Was it a mix of both? I want to know, what did they learn, if anything? And what would they do differently, if anything, if they could go back and try it all over again? So grab a coffee and settle in, because this next story just might change the way you see your own. Today we have with us Sara Musone. So excited to have you here.
Me too.
And I can't wait to hear your story. So what is the story you were most excited to talk about today?
Well, I think that I have to start out by saying that this world makes it absolutely impossible to be a full-time working mother.
Yep.
And it is terrible. I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. But for me, in my experience, I liked my job. I really did. I liked what I was doing. I felt I was a stay-at-home mom for, 12 years, 11 years. And so I finally felt like I was a productive member of society, which I know everybody will say, but you're a mom.
Yeah,
but,
right.
okay, I was like, esteemed colleagues, and I was attending functions, and I had more to talk to my husband about than, the day-to-day lives of our children.
Right.
So I felt proud, and I felt absolutely awful at the same time, because I was giving, you cannot give 200%. You can't.
Right.
And so if I was giving 100% at work, then my family was suffering.
Right.
And if I was giving 100% at home, then my job was suffering.
Right.
And my job, I worked with, children and families. So it was actually pretty important that I was on all the time.
Yep.
And so I think my main story is that, how do we make it better so that everyone can be, who they want to be?
Right. Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot to figure out. It's a burden that I think almost all working mothers, parents, but mothers are experiencing, and there doesn't seem to be an answer or a fix, and that's incredibly infuriating.
Right.
And I think that there are, some women who are working because they have to financially.
Correct.
But then there's also women who are working because they have to for their own personal fulfillment. And that's also very important. Like when you lose your sense of identity and self, and you're raising these humans, and that's such an incredible job and all that, but there's more to us. And so, but then you're left with this choice almost of
Right.
of which do I do and which not, and it does feel like an impossible choice. And I know, so I can remember after having my oldest, the last night I had with him before I had to go back to work, and I was furious.
Right. I remember.
Like, as an American,
Yes.
I remember being like, this is ridiculous. I can't even remember. He would have been 3 months old.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm leaving for him to be gone an entire day without the person who's feeding him. And
Right.
I was furious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that contributed to a lot of the anger and resentment I started having at work.
Right. Correct.
Now I know that.
Correct.
Then it was all the other things. But in hindsight, it's like I was bringing that peace. I was bringing that peace with me. So
Yes.
how did that feel for you? Like you're showing up at a job that obviously means a lot to you because you're having a big impact every day. And you also have a family.
Right.
And so what did it feel like when you would be at work knowing you're doing something really great, but then your kid is sick at home, or vice versa?
Right. It was a lot of, I do think you touched on something there, because at first when I started, I was like, I am a badass. Like, I'm going to just rock this and it's going to be fine. And as it continued to go on, I became resentful of the people helping me, my mom and my mother-in-law or whoever. And if, they were letting my kids sit on devices the whole time, or, we're late or something, I just became so resentful. Like, how come you can't do it like I can?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I felt, I'm at work. I have to rely on them. Why are you being such a bitch? Like, they're helping you. But I was resentful, because I think deep down it was like, I still wanted to be doing it.
You wanted to be there.
Yeah. But I also, it's so conflicting because I really did want to work.
Yeah.
And then, I think I did bring that resentment to work too, because at first, you can brush off the things that were annoying, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, all jobs are like this, right? Or you have to get through it. Or, and then the more I was missing, or the more I was rushing to a game, or, arguing with my husband about who was going to stay home on the sick days and all that, I brought that resentment to work.
Yeah.
And so then everything was kind of just too overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was like little things. All of a sudden I would be like, this is so ridiculous. Like, how do people work like this, like in this environment? And I think, some of it was definitely annoying, but not maybe to the extent because of the pressure I felt.
Sure. Yeah, that I can really relate to that. So I'm thinking like what I felt, I know, was there would be some sort of a problem. And I'm like, this is the problem.
Right.
Really, this is the problem. Like, I could be at home right now with my kid.
Right.
But instead of that, I'm here with you dealing with this petty nonsense.
Yes.
And that's the stuff that really affected me.
Yes.
And what I think is interesting is we both had careers before we had children.
Yes.
And I definitely handled things differently before I had them.
Oh, for sure.
Like it, but yeah, I do get, I have more patience and more empathy in a lot of ways, but I have much less patience for people's bullshit, because I'm like, if I'm spending my time with you, I am not spending it with them. Or if I'm doing this with you, I'm not doing it with them.
Right.
And so it's almost unfairly putting this burden on them.
True.
To always be doing all. Like, don't ever annoy me.
Right.
Don't ever ask me a question. Don't ever make a mistake.
Right.
Because I'm a mom and I could be at home right now.
Right.
Like,
And
that's not fair.
It is not.
Yeah.
Right. But like when you're running on empty, essentially, it's fight or flight, basically, is how I felt. I did definitely feel like my job was one where you're, like you said, making an impact, right? And that's the whole point of the job.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately what started to bring me down was that I was like, if I couldn't tangibly see the impact, then it was like, well, why am I even doing this?
Right.
Because of that.
Right.
Like I left my family to do this because it means so much to me. And am I even making an impact?
Yeah.
So definitely.
So wanting that automatic like return.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So how long were you? Well, let me ask this. Okay. I was going to say, how long were you at that job? But I'm not even sure that matters so much as how long were you in the job before you started feeling like this just might not be the right time?
I think that the first summer that I had to work was just really hard because I was always with my kids in the summer. We, they're older now, so we don't do as much stuff, but we were always together. And I missed them terribly. And I think that was just really hard. And in my job, I was in a school, so the teachers weren't there, but I was still there. Yep. And I kept thinking, like, why do I have to be here? Yeah. Like I can get a lot done. Like, I'm very competent. I could do this at home or whatever. And so then that was just really, really hard for me to not just miss out with what I was doing with the kids, but then also knowing that they weren't getting those same experiences, right? Because you have to get daycare and all this stuff. It's not just mom and me time anymore. It's like they had to also, I guess it's fine, kids do this, it's not a big deal, but like I felt like I was letting them down.
Yeah. And actually, let's go to that for a second, because as you were talking about this, I was thinking it's actually important for people to hear you were raised by a working mother.
Yes, absolutely. Single working mother.
So, yeah. So it's not like you had this, magical childhood experience with your mother at home every day and you wanted to have that for them. You are putting so much pressure on yourself to give them what you wish you had had. Right. Which is something all of us do. Yes. And they don't know it one way or another. Right. Right. They have no idea. Right. So we know because we want better and different, but they don't know. And that's something that I know I personally struggle with a lot, is like they have no idea. Right. I know. I agree. I'm always like, oh God, I'm screwing them up, or I don't want them to feel how I felt as a child. And
I'm just going to make up for it like 1,000%. And then
Right.
it's just another, unrealistic expectation you're putting on yourself.
Right.
I really don't think my husband worries about this stuff. I really don't.
right,
I
right.
mean, I think he's like, they're good. Like,
Yeah,
you
they're
know.
happy.
Yeah,
They're good.
they're happy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I want to go back to what you said about the summertime and how you were like, I'm competent, and you are like, you're very driven, and you're not the kind of person to let anything kind of slack, which is why you're saying you can't give 100% at work and 100% at home.
right.
So that in and of itself makes it challenging every day because you always feel like you're failing.
Yes.
That's how I feel. I know that's relatable. So, but what I'm interested in though is with, during the pandemic when everybody had to work from home, and then when we reopened the world and then people were expected to go back, and there was a lot of pushback where it's like, no, but I just showed you for a year that I could do this from home. Why are you making me go back? So, and there are a lot of organizations out there that shifted their policies where it's like, you know what, you're right. And they did say, go ahead and stay at home. Or they said, how about we do hybrid instead? And then there's others who did force people to go back. But with that in mind, because this is a conversation that comes up all the time, is what would that summer have looked like for you to work from home, giving your job everything you wanted to and giving your kids everything you wanted to in a way that you weren't able to do that summer? Like, because now you have the hindsight.
Right.
So do you think you could have done it? Because at the time, it's like, I could be doing this at home. But when you look back, do you think you could have done it at home?
So the way my job worked summer was a lot of planning.
Yeah.
But we also did have a lot of events. We were really busy, still trying to get our families there and our kids, making sure we had summer school, So there was times that I definitely should have, or, had to be there. And I was. But I do think that I could have been successful had I been able to work from home, maybe 3 days a week or something.
Yeah.
Although I'm going to be completely honest with you, I wouldn't be like when I'm sitting in my office at school. There are distractions but I think that based on the way I worked and my work ethic and my production, that it would have been easy to see that I could have been successful.
Yeah.
To be fair, the job did let you work from home occasionally. I think they had a 1 day a week policy at that time. And my media boss was very understanding. She really was. But it's also like, honey, you got a full-time job now. Like,
Yeah.
This is how it is. Like, I understand you have 4 kids, but oh well.
Yeah. So do other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, I do think that they understood, but for me, I do think I could have been successful. Maybe I would have lasted a little bit longer, but to be honest, you're not giving, 100% when you have 4 kids at home too.
Yeah,
You're not.
sure.
Not.
Well, and so you I was going to get to this question in a minute, but you just said it may have kept you a little longer, but maybe not. And I'm just thinking there's certain jobs where, so like you said, you wouldn't have been sitting down at your desk like you would have been at work. I'm also thinking there are some jobs where that doesn't matter. So if you don't have deadlines or you don't have X, Y, and Z that are due at this time, and this time, and you're in the process of planning a thing that is happening next week, who cares what time of day it gets done?
Right.
As long as you're getting all the things done.
Yes.
And then you are showing up and you're on and you're ready and you're doing that stuff. So I
agree.
I think there's some jobs where there's no option. You need to be there and just suck it up. And then I think there are some where I don't care if you're working at 10 o'clock at night, because what matters to me is next week when we have that event, everything's done, run smoothly, all of those things. And then could you have, like, sure, you can't give 100% to your job when all 4 of your kids are up and it's summer and you're going to the pool and picking strawberries, but
it would have gotten done.
It would have gotten done, and you still would have done a good job because that's your work ethic.
Yeah. But I think the problem is, right, there's 13 of me in that position, right? Everybody has a different place. And so if they let me do that,
Sure.
How do you let somebody else do that maybe isn't getting as much done or something? So I think that was a problem. I think that honestly is how they based things, maybe, is keeping it kind of
Fair.
the same for everybody.
And that makes sense because I don't think it's fair that, and I'm saying this as a mom, I don't think it's fair to pull the mom card
Right.
just because somebody else doesn't have a kid. Like, I'm somehow more important than you. No, like, you have your own life. You have your own things that are really important to you.
For sure.
I would argue that living, breathing children might be more important than a cat. But, like, who the hell am I to say?
Right.
You know, like, that's
Agreed.
just a judgmental thing, right? So, but what I think is kind of interesting in this particular topic is I understand the need to be fair. So I'm not sure that the time at the office is the issue as much as this managing of people.
Right.
Let's see. So, like, I guess I'm just thinking only over the summer, people are allowed to work 3 days from home, and you have a check-in on that fourth day. And if you don't have your stuff together, your supervisor is like,
This isn't working
these
out.
are the expectations. This is what you need to be doing. It's not happening. You know, we need to get this done, and I need it done by now. And if that can't happen, then we're going to have to revisit your time at home. And so doing it the opposite, rather than nobody can do it,
Right.
do everybody can do it. Let people show up and be adults and do the thing. And then for the people who maybe aren't so great at it, then they get some extra support. Or those people might say, like, I'm terrible at doing this at home. I'd rather come in.
Right.
Because people can make decisions for themselves,
Right,
you
right.
know. So I just think that's I wonder if that's something that, you know, businesses can consider more, especially when it comes to.
Well, especially here in Erie. Number one, I don't care if you have kids or not. We are stuck inside
Yeah.
for going on, whatever, forever.
8 months.
Yeah.
Straight. Yeah.
And it's nice. Like, I feel like you want your employees to be, like, you know, happy, right?
Yeah.
So that and especially like in the job I was in, during the year, it is on all the time.
Yeah.
You know, 60-hour week sometimes. And so the summer, when you have a little bit of breathing room, like, I think that would be a really added bonus to keep people
Yeah.
in these high pressure jobs.
Yeah. For sure. Finding that natural break, and every industry would be different. And
Right.
you know, but being able to find some room for natural breaks where you can kind of get out and smell the roses
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. I can remember at one of my old jobs, going to the peninsula and just having a picnic table and just doing work, all my paperwork at the peninsula. And it just set me right. Like, I just felt like I was just aligned, and it felt good.
Right.
Like, I was being productive, but I also didn't feel like I was stuck in this cubicle, you know. So it did absolutely make a
Yeah,
difference.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So so we kind of touched on what might have helped you stay. You know, that summer was definitely a hard one. And ultimately, that may or may not have changed something. Is there anything else? Because what I'm thinking about are the leaders that are listening to this, and the people who are in your position. Like, what kinds of messages can we be sending them? Because when you have the kind of worker who is giving so much that they actually feel like they're taking away from their family,
Right.
that's not a good thing. But you know, you have a really strong worker with a
Right.
good work ethic.
Right.
How can we help with that, finding that ebb and flow and finding that, like, harmony? Because I don't know that balance, I don't know that it can ever be like, you get 100% of me now, you get 100% of me
Yeah.
now. There's going to be times where it's like, I have an event this week, so I'm not home. But next week I'll have more, whatever. So what can we say to the leaders out there for how they can maybe help? Because I don't feel like this problem with working mothers, this isn't something that's an easy fix.
Right.
But what kinds of suggestions might you have?
I think overall, you know, worry less about fairness, and maybe the people who are really going above and beyond, like, let them know.
Yeah.
Let everyone know. It's okay to maybe make some waves if you're going to really build up the people that are doing exactly what you want them to do. Now, okay, so in my job, they would say that doing too much was sometimes not following the plan.
Sure.
Okay, so that's, like, impossible, because the job I was in, like, it is too much. It's literally too much.
Yeah.
So they really wanted to keep everything kind of even, but I know that a lot of us felt like we weren't we kind of knew how much we were working and what we were doing, what we were accomplishing, what numbers, you could actually see the data. And comparing to others, it just felt like not rewarding,
Sure.
I guess, or not like, because it's so freaking hard, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like a little kid, like, you're doing a good job. That goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than just like plugging away, getting more and more miserable because you're whatever. You have all this pressure on yourself and society and da-da-da. So maybe just a little bit more of a, hey, atta girl,
Yeah.
Something like that. Or, even in a performance review, right? Like show it in there.
Right.
Let that be in the record. Those types of things rather than kind of getting the same review as somebody that isn't doing the same.
Sure. Yeah, and it's interesting because this isn't, I hear this other places as well where being a high performer is sometimes, being a high performer is not always great.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had, another guest talk about when you're a high performer, you end up getting more work put on you because the expectation is there.
Correct.
Or you're a high performer who puts it on yourself, which that's the category I'm in. I'm like, sure, I can do that. Yes, I can do that because I believe in myself and my abilities, but I forget that you only have so much energy and time and that depletes quickly. So I think that there is a level of like from a leader on the outside looking in, making sure you have a finger on the pulse of the people who are the high achievers to make sure they don't burn out. Like there is a responsibility on you, I think, as a leader to make sure you're keeping tabs on that and reining people in. But I think there's a fine line from like checking in and reining in from like making it seem like a bad thing.
Right.
Too. Because if you are trying to build a culture of people who are hardworking, connecting with the values, and you see people doing that, and then you're like, whoa, these other people aren't doing it that way, and we don't want to make them feel bad.
Right.
So let's slow it down a little bit. I don't know.
I think really, honestly, just like clear expectations.
Yeah.
Not like oh, yeah, that was really great, what you did. Clear expectations. Like we want this many things a year. We want, to see this happening monthly. I don't know. Something like that. Really set clear expectations. When you are comparing, several people in the same position, there has to be something that they're all striving for the same.
Yep.
It can't just be kind of like, well, we decided to do, this. And I don't know. It's hard because dynamics, demographics are different,
Sure.
right? Everywhere. But I think just being more clear with your expectations can help with that burnout.
Yeah. So something just came to me as you were saying that, and it's almost like the reverse of, so when we're thinking about like the working from home or not, and then the expectations as far as like what types of things you should be checking off the list to be stepping up as the employee that we need you to be. And it's almost like if the energy wasn't put on, we need to keep this fair.
Yeah.
And it's, we need to keep this fair. Like this is what the job requires, and this is what everybody is expected to do. I don't really care how you get there. We just want it to be done well. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Like putting the focus of the fairness on the actual production of whatever it is,
right,
versus the amount of time you're sitting behind a desk.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if that's a way that there could be a shift in perspective there.
I mean, yeah, it's the same goal, right? Like everyone in my position, basically, they just want the data to show that there is overall better for the people, the shareholders, whatever, people involved. So in order to get there evenly and fairly, there has to be some sort of expectation. I know.
Absolutely.
I messed that up. Sorry. You'll have to edit that out.
No, you're not editing out because that makes so much sense. And here's the other thing too. I think that we also have really great leaders and managers out there who are just like moms, worrying about getting it right and worrying like we're going to screw it up. I think it's the same thing with leaders and managers of, it doesn't matter like your gender, of you want to get it right. And so you're kind of like, I trust you guys, you've got this, where you're trying to be like supportive but not micromanaging. Right. And you really think that that's the right way to go. And then you have the other ones who are so like structured and rigid, there's almost no room to breathe.
Yes.
But when you have those very clear expectations that are set, I mean, this is true for everybody from when we are born until we all need to know. We all need to know the boundaries.
Yes.
We all need to know the framework, the structure, so that we can be successful within that.
Right. Yeah, and I think
So-
too also it would stop the comparison maybe, right? Because like we're all getting to the same goal. We have to.
Yeah.
So rather than like, well, I did this, and this person only did this,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of brings morale down too.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, in those aspects, maybe less competitive. You know,
Sure.
it shouldn't be a competitive job because we're all doing the same thing.
Right. Well, which is hilarious because you and I are both very competitive.
Oh, yeah. I
So
mean,
we are definitely calling ourselves out
Literally
right
can't help
now.
myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So like the people are competitive and like we're doing this and they're not doing that. This is us.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
calling myself out.
We are the
Yes.
people who make this a problem and we
Yes.
can impact morale. And it's really important that we are aware
Yes.
that we bring that. And then on the other side, I'm like, yeah, but I'm also trying to like bring up the team
Yeah.
and like shoot for bigger, like we can do more and come on guys, let's do it. So like I have my other side of that as well, but it is important to see, I think. And again, that is the job from the leader on the outside looking in of like, it's so great that you're doing these things, but if it's bringing down the rest of the team, we have to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
But also wording it that way and being direct and being specific and being, you know, when it comes to the structure, the expectations, not the structure, the expectations.
Yeah.
When you're clear on your expectations, someone's going to fall in the line or they're going to fall out.
Right.
And then you know you have the right team, or you at least know how to manage differently.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. When you know what's expected, it helps. And I'm thinking of someone I know who is one of the most incredible humans that I know. And he took a huge job. He took a big job shift a year ago. And I remember asking him how it was going. And he was like floundering because he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what they want from me. And this is the kind of person who will nail it
Right.
every time.
Right.
Whatever it is, he will do it the way you want him to do it. But it was so hard for him to be like, what does success look like? What does
Right.
being lazy look? What does being off look like? Like, I have no idea.
Right.
And that can really lead to a lot of its own issues. So like imposter syndrome, burnout, all of the things of just never knowing how you're doing.
Yes. Agreed.
So going back to the recognition thing of
Right.
hearing hey, you nailed that.
Right.
That was awesome. It's like, oh, good. It's kind of those buffers where you're like, am I, yeah? Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try to do something like that again without just kind of being out there figuring it out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I think I asked this, but then I didn't actually let you answer it. So is there anything that could have kept you at the job?
I think that's a really good question. I mean, if I'm being honest, I really still miss the job a lot of the time. My coworkers and the impact that I was making, I really do miss that. So if there was a way for me to stay, I've said this before, it's really hard to leave a job that you're really good at.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you know, pat myself on the back there, but it's true. Like, it's not like I was like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. I suck at this. It was like, I gotta get out of here because I'm going to literally burn myself completely out. So I think in order for me to stay, maybe more open and honest conversation on me, you know, I should have done that. I should have been more open and honest when I was struggling, rather than try to figure it out. Right. I should have given them the opportunity to help me. And I didn't. I didn't. I had made up my mind. By the time I talked to them, I had made up my mind. So I don't think that was fair to them, if I'm being honest. But for me to stay, I think there has to just kind of be a shift in the job itself, in that you're having too many people with a say in what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, yeah.
Without highlighting anybody specific, there's levels of people kind of above you in my position, and you just don't know who really you're supposed to listen to.
There's like
if
competing.
I don't do this, then this person's going to be really upset, and I have to work with this person every day. But if I do this, then my ultimate employer is going to say I'm doing too much, and that's why I'm burned out. So it was just kind of just the dynamic
It was
really.
like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Really, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I think there has to be a little bit of a shift there
Yeah.
in general. But those are kind of, positive and negative for both of us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And that it feels like some kind of going back to what you said, conversations all around. There are some more direct conversations, more specific conversations that need to be happening
yes.
to really get to the root of things that could be problematic for many employees who maybe aren't saying it aloud. That could potentially keep them longer because they wouldn't be having to deal with like, am I making mom happy or dad happy today?
Right.
Because anybody from a divorced family knows like that is not a fun position to be in.
Yeah, it's sort of,
And that's kind of like what you were faced with. So yeah, that's interesting. So is there anything that you wish that you would have done differently?
Yeah, I wish and I struggle with this every day, is if I learned to say no. I really wish I had learned to say no. I'm sorry, that's outside of my whatever. You would say it better than me. Yeah. I would ask you what to say and you would tell me, but just be honest. That's honestly like a personal thing too, though, because I do that in my everyday life. But just learning to say no, and also allowing it to be like okay that you can't do it all, right? Yeah. Like I've even asked my kids since then, are you happier now that I'm home or whatever? I mean, they were proud of me when I was working. They really were. They came to my events. They helped me. I would come home and tell them maybe things that I accomplished, and I could tell that they were proud. And I actually struggled with that when I quit because I felt like they were kind of like, oh, mom, where's my socks again? Rather than like, wow, that's really cool. Or I saw you on the news or, whatever. Yeah. Like, so the whole time I was thinking I was letting my kids down, I probably wasn't.
Yeah.
So, not that would have changed because, they're kids. They know. I'm not saying they don't know, but
yeah.
I ultimately think I just really wanted to be home with them. And I know that I'm lucky that I can do that, but it was also really hard to leave, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like, all of these things sound honestly more positive than not. So it almost sounds like if things aligned and things shifted in some ways that you could possibly even see yourself doing something like this again in the future, maybe when the kids are older or something like that, what would it take to change in order for you to consider something like that? Because we're talking about, and this happens all the time, it's the unicorns that we lose because they burn out.
Right.
And so what can we do to keep those people? And so that's what I'm interested in is.
I guess, yeah. I think really understanding the workload of the people underneath you, the ones who are actually the face of it.
Yep.
If that had been handled differently, I would have felt better.
Yeah. So again, going back to that, like sort of just the awareness and the recognition of what is going on day to day, the ins and outs, the toll that's taking.
Correct.
And really acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a really genuine way. Yeah.
More of like a leadership shift, I guess, that I know we're asking all of this of you. And, it's not like they weren't like ever, hey, great job or anything, but just really know what you're asking of people.
Yeah.
I know that this is what we want the outcome to be and the greater picture, but these are actual people doing this and making it happen. So, figure out how to better balance what that looks like, I guess.
Yeah.
For people.
And I'm curious, I don't know if you happen to know this, is this particular job, and there are many like it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people listening who can be like, that's kind of sounds like my job. And,
right.
What is the turnover like?
Well, it was a very sought after position. And now there has been quite a bit of turnover in the job. Again, everybody has their own reasons. I cannot speak for anybody else.
Sure.
But it just did seem like there was quite a bit more turnover lately.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that even, and they might do this, I don't know. Because I don't know these people or how it operates, but I'm curious if exit interviews occurred.
Yes.
For all of them.
I don't know about everybody else. I had one with my immediate supervisor.
Okay. Yeah, but I feel like it's a missed opportunity, and it's this gold mine of information. And if you're seeing turnover, and like you said, sought out positions, so you're going to have high performers applying for these jobs because it's a sought out position.
Yes.
So then they get in there, and when you start to see them go and finding out if there's a pattern there, because everybody is so different. It could be for so many different reasons.
Yes.
But it could also be for a lot of the same reason. And if a shift can happen to hold on to those best people, you know, that's something really important to look at, you know, from the top down. So yeah, hopefully they did it with everyone and they've been able to make some shifts. So
Yeah.
all right. So this is my last question.
Okay.
And it's kind of a funny one.
Okay, good.
Okay. I want to know, what is the song you hear that you cannot not run to the dance floor fast enough?
Oh gosh. Oh my God, when was the last time I was on a dance floor?
It doesn't matter. Your kitchen, whatever. You're sitting on the couch.
I think Journey. Definitely some Journey.
Yeah.
Don't Stop Believing.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to get me out there.
Yeah. Every time. Okay. Do you want to?
Was that your answer you thought I was going to say?
No.
Yeah.
Mine's Tootsie Roll.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I can still picture you doing that in ninth grade.
Yeah, I can't not.
It's ridiculous.
I can't.
How about the donkey butt? Remember that one?
Oh my God.
Like, oh my God.
Can you imagine seeing your children doing this?
No, we were like in eighth grade.
No.
It's awful.
It's really bad. 90s throwback.
Yeah.
I love it. So, well, Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your story today. It's so many people can relate, I'm sure, and I really appreciate your time and being open to talking about some of your own, the things that you know that you did wrong too. And like, I think that takes a lot of courage. So thank you for being here.
Anything to support you.
Thanks. Today's episode of Click with Casie was sponsored by Mosquito Assassin. So last summer, my husband and I knew that we cannot live another summer getting bit by mosquitoes and watching our children just blow up with red welts and, God forbid, a tick on our dog. So we decided to experience the difference and live pest-free for a summer. And it was the best investment we made. We became the house on the block that everybody wanted to come to because you didn't leave covered in mosquito bites. So if you're ready to enjoy your summer without the constant buzz and bite of mosquitoes and ticks, if you want to stop dealing with ants, spiders, and rodents invading your home, you need to call Mosquitoes Assassins. They believe that your indoor and outdoor spaces should be yours to enjoy pest-free. They are the top-rated pest control provider servicing Erie, Crawford, and Ashtabula counties, and they are trusted local experts. With their pest-free guarantee, advanced treatments, and eco-friendly solutions, they quickly and effectively eliminate mosquitoes, ticks, rodents, and more. Whether it's your home or business, they've got you covered. And I can tell you from personal experience, it is worth every darn penny. Also, side note, their communication is amazing. So if you want to deal with real pros who know how to get the job done and they can communicate with you along the way, you definitely want to give them a call.